Hallo alle sammen, og velkommen til nok en episode av Russlandsfarerne. Ukas tema er den norsk-russiske skolen i Murmansk i Nord-Russland. En skole for både norske og russiske videregående elever. Med oss for å snakke om dette temaet er tidligere elev der, russiske Katerina Malysheva. Velkommen, Katja.
Hi.
Ja.
That's me.
Yeah. Jeg vet at du lærer deg litt norsk nå, men du sa at du ville gjøre dette på engelsk, so we're gonna switch over to English now. Just,
I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay for me because it's a difficult language. I know that Norwegian is a difficult language for foreigners, but yes. But
it's okay.
Yeah, but it's okay. But let's start from the basic. Tell us a little about the Norwegian Russian school. What kind of students are we talking about here?
Yeah, okay. So Russian Norwegian school is basically a project that combines students from Russia and Norway, 10 students from Russia and 10 students from Norway, to study all together in one class. And that's basically the main idea. And we just explore each other's mentality and culture and and we go to the same classes, we go with the same teachers, and learn to communicate, learn some new languages, and explore things.
Yeah, but it was...
So that's the main idea.
And you were there last year, right?
Yes, I was there for the last year.
Yeah. And why did you choose studying there? Why did you what come up with the idea of studying with Norwegians?
Yeah, I was doing different exchange projects with Norway before I learned about this school, and I always knew about it, but I never actually thought that I could go there and pass all these exams because it seemed really difficult. But then last year I just decided to go for it and try, and it seemed very challenging-ish to me, and it was just interesting to see what's up there, to meet new people. I knew from the very beginning that there are going to be a lot of cool, interesting people there, and I just have to try. And I honestly, I didn't think that I'm going to pass all these exams and interviews. I was a bit scared, but so I just went for it, I guess, for fun. I didn't really think I was going to get into it. But yeah, I came to the exam and I passed it, and then they invited me for the interview, and I was like, okay. And then it's only 10 students, and I guess in my year it was really, really a lot of participants, and I didn't actually think I'll make it to the 10, but I did. And I was just expecting to challenge myself a bit, to see if I can actually do the whole studies in English, if I can pass the exams and communicate with people from all around Norway, and
So it's a difficult process to get into this school, at least on the Russian side, it seems.
Yeah, it is, but honestly, I think it seems more difficult than it really is, because when I was thinking about these exams, I didn't really know what was that exam actually. So when I came there, I just wrote things, and I just it wasn't as difficult as I thought. But still, there are a lot of people who want to get into the school, and there are a lot of competition-ish. So at one point it is really difficult and stressful, I think, because first you do the exam and then you do the interview, and it's kind of like you have to wait for these dates, and you have to get a bit stressed. But I don't think now it was as difficult, but it seemed really difficult.
Yeah, because you have to speak English in order to be a part of it, right?
Yeah, you had to speak English, and also I wasn't really worried about English, but I was worried about the mentality. I never knew about this mentality barrier before, but suddenly before this interview I was very nervous about it. But yeah, it's fine. It's actually fine.
Yeah.
So.
But the other Russians there, they are like really competitive. They were really competitive, and they're also from Murmansk, if I'm not wrong. Or...
Yeah, I honestly think that my year was very competitive. They were like, we have to get it, and I was kind of just there, just thinking, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I can make it, I cannot. But yeah, they are quite competitive, and I think the difference was that mostly students from my year, they came right after school. And I was already taking a gap year after school, so I was a bit more chilled, I think. So they were like taking this as serious as university, and I was just like, well, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit stressful, I think, for them. And when you are surrounded with like stressing people, you are kind of stressing too. So
yeah, but all the Russian students, they are all from Murmansk, right?
actually, no. From my year, we had one girl from Moscow. We had a few people from the region, from small cities around Murmansk. So that was very interesting, actually, to know that not only people from Murmansk can apply. So yeah, it was not only people.
Yeah. But you yourself are from Murmansk, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, like a real Murmanchanka, one might say.
Murmanchanka, yeah, that's correct.
Yes, and but what kind of subjects did you study at that school?
We studied a lot. Russians had to study everything that Norwegians study during the whole Vidare time. So I studied lots of Norwegian, old history, modern history, social could take different courses such as chemistry or biology, but no one took it from my year. But I know you can apply for this course also. Yeah, a lot of different subjects, but those were like the main ones. PE, of course. Yeah.
So there were Russian lessons for Norwegian and vice versa, Norwegian lessons for Russians there.
Yeah, of course, of course. But also, Norwegian was kind of it was all Russian students had the same Norwegian level lessons ish, and Russian course was divided into 3 levels. So different Norwegians took different Russian lessons. That's the only difference, I think. But besides that, yeah, we learned each other's languages, and yeah.
Yeah, but what about yourself? How is your Norwegian right now? How did it improve over the course of that year?
I from zero. I didn't know. Of course, I had basically I started from zero, and of course, going from then and now I can. Of course, you can never say you're perfect with someone else's language. So I'm still improving, and I'm still doing some tasks. I'm like listening to the radio. I'm very often in Norway practicing. So, but of course, I can say it improved a lot from zero.
Yeah. So you started from zero as well, or
Yeah.
okay. So yeah. And what about your fellow Russians? Did they learn any Norwegian, or how? Or is it really much about self-studying?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember that we all had difficulties. Like it's different for everyone. There were some people it was just very easy for them to just go for it, and some of my fellow students, they learned Norwegian before coming to this school, so we were kind of on different levels. But I don't know what did others do for self-studying. Like, I don't know, I'm listening to radio, I'm reading books, and I'm listening to podcasts and stuff. I guess others do that too. But I really can't say for them. But I think we all just learned that it's important to surround yourself with this constant Norwegian sounds, or like see Norwegian letters or something like that, so that it would be easier to not forget. Or yeah.
But your impression about how the Norwegian learned Russian, do you have any opinions about that, or have any observations about that?
What do you say?
Oh, you want me to repeat? I asked you, what is your impression about how the Norwegian learned Russian?
Yeah, okay. I didn't hear different levels of Russian. Some started from the very beginning. Some started like from some knowledge, the third level for basically some students that already knew Russian. But it was very, very unusual to see people studying a language, and Russian is very difficult. That's what I actually learned by helping my friends. It's very difficult, and it was very, very challenging for them, I think, especially for ones who started from the very beginning. It was very difficult to adopt these pronunciations and lots of grammar, and yeah, it's kind of insane. But I think they did a great job. I think they all knew basic stuff by the end of the year.
So yeah,
even those ones who started from the bottom.
Yeah. So they got something out of their stay. They know a lot of Russian after staying 1 year in Russia, basically.
Yeah, of course. They kind of had to, because in Russia, I don't know if many people know about it, but in Russia, people don't really speak English.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to the shop, or if you want to ask someone on the street, you have to speak Russian, actually. So I think they were kind of forced to learn a bit faster because they had to adopt.
Yeah, I know all about that.
I'm very, very proud of them, because I cannot imagine just not knowing a word, and you cannot actually communicate with people. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, of course. But tell us a little about the relationships that you Russian had with the Norwegian. You all hung out together outside of classes, right?
Yeah, of course we had some. Well, of course, when you just meet for the first time, you're kind of not scared-ish, but you don't really know how to act and stuff. So we had some things planned with the school, such as school trips to Norway, to Russia, to St. Petersburg, to this camping thing in the beginning of the year, so that we can get to know each other. But about the other time, I think it was kind of on and off. Sometimes we were really willing to go out together. Sometimes we were very busy with the studying, and we didn't go out as much. And of course, by the end of the year, people kind of formed this some people really established a friendship, some people didn't. So some people did go out a lot, but some just didn't really want to.
Yeah.
So it was on and off. But I think in general we had a very calm, friendly, I don't know, stämning. We were very, very nice with each other, and there were no drama or I don't know, quarrels. We were just chilled with each other and very friendly, everyone.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. So the Norwegian didn't have any home longing, or was there someone who had longing home maybe, or?
Yeah, of course. And I think for Norwegians, it was it was a very specific feeling to go to a different country where you don't really know anyone, where you don't really know how to communicate with people, because we are Russians very different from Norwegians, and you can meet this mentality barrier very easy. So of course, I would say Norwegians first, they established a friendship between each other, the ones who lived at these different student houses and stuff, and then they kind of started to hang out with Russians, and Russians started to hang out with Norwegians, because with Russians, it's also a bit challenging, because you already have friends here in Russia, so you don't have to hang out with like your Norwegian students, you know. You can just go study and then go to your Russian friends. But I saw a lot of interest coming from Russian students to, you know, hang out with Norwegians and see what everyone is up to, you know.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was very friendly, I think.
Yeah, that sounds great. But also Murmansk is also a city that in general is very close to Norway in sense of yeah, because there's like, I think the latest statistics about how many Norwegians there were in Murmansk, that includes the yearly students. It's about 50-60 Norwegians living in Murmansk at the yeah. So, but also, when you talk to people, the locals from Murmansk, you will always hear that they have some connection to Norway. Either they've been to Kirkenes or know someone who have been to Norway, and etc. So, so Norway is a big part of Murmansk in many regards. And there's also a history back in time also. So. Yeah, so it's not so I think it would be the most welcoming place for Norwegian in all of Russia would be Murmansk.
Yeah, I have to agree here. It's true, because we have, even though we have this difference between the mentality, the Russian and Norwegian, but I think we have this same Nordic kind of mentality that is very, very, I would say, yeah, you can compare it, and it's quite kind of close. So it's not that difficult for us to understand Norwegians or communicate with Norwegians. So yeah, but I hope, or at least I can say from my year, I didn't see that much struggles of, you know, communicating with each other. I think it was kind of easy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, but were you often out drinking? Like, that's maybe a stereotype of Russian, but also of Norwegian. Also, we also drink a lot. But did you have a lot of fun with alcohol? As yeah.
Yeah, of course we hanged out a lot. I would say, I think after the first semester, when we kind of got to know each other really well. We were, especially Norwegians, they were always very welcoming at the student housing, and they were always inviting for any kind of, you know, hanging out thing. But then, of course, not everyone was like into going out, actually clubbing or drinking. I think it was specific groups of people, but of course we did that, of course. I think it's a very, very common way of establishing any kind of friendships between people from different countries. I don't say that alcohol is uniting, but it kind of is.
yeah, I have to kind of agree. But
yeah, and we are talking about student life here, and I can't really imagine us always like sitting and baking waffles. Even though we did that too, we were just having like cozy evenings. But it was always nice to go out and just see and explore, especially for Norwegians. I think it was a great experience of seeing how Russians drink out of home, in the clubs, in the restaurants, the attitude, you know. So I think it was good for them.
Yeah, like that ties people together, right?
Kind of, yeah.
But finally, if there are any parents, or for that matter, high school students listening who might considering going to this school, or parents sending their children to this school, why should they, or why do you think that is such a good idea?
I think it's a great experience. First of all, living in a different country, if we're talking about Norwegians considering to like go here. or come here. First of all, it's a cool experience to just live by yourself, try this kind of fake student life, because you're not a student, but it kind of gives you this vibe of student life, you know, and just see how if you can cope with it, if it's fine for you, if it's, you know, if it fits you. I'm, of course, this huge cultural exchange. I think it matters a lot, because if you're just used to, you know, your own country and you've never actually been out and you've never actually experienced living somewhere else, I think it would be a great step, because not only you're living, but you're studying and you're learning new things and you're meeting new people. I know a lot of people from this specific school studying together for a year, Russians and Norwegians, and then holding the friendship for years, you know. Or yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of just see people and show yourself out there and just see what's going to happen, you know. It's challenging, it's interesting.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting, of course, and I hope this is a school that continues to exist, and we especially need one these difficult days. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very important.
Yeah, but yeah, and without further ado, tusen hjertelig takk for at du ville være med på denne podcasten, Katja.
Ja, takk.
Så håper jeg at flere som har hørt på dette her synes at dette er en god idé, og håper at det gode vennskapet mellom Norge og Russland fortsetter. Så ha det bra.
Ha det.